So what is an SOVT? It's an acronym for semi-occluded vocal tract, semi meaning partially and occluded meaning kind of stopped up. And this is going to create more of that acoustic support that we talked about as inertance. So looking at this inertogram again and reminding ourselves that when we add a straw, it's going to partially occlude or make more narrow the opening of the vocal tract. And when that happens, we're going to see energy across all of our energy boosts increase. So it's going to give us the added benefit of inertance across all of the vocal tract, bringing all of our energy peaks higher. So why does it do this? Well, you'll see in this picture, what the straw does is it narrows the opening and it lengthens the vocal tract. And when that happens, we increase the amount of acoustic pressure or back pressure to the vocal folds. When we increase that back pressure, we make it easier for the vocal folds to vibrate. We talked before about that mass times acceleration, and we're seeing that right here. The pressure from below matches the pressure from above, and the vocal folds have an easier time doing whatever it is we ask them to do. Whatever it is. It becomes more easy when we increase our acoustic back pressure, which is the concept of inertance that we spoke about in the last module. And so by narrowing the opening and lengthening the vocal tract, we increase energy back to the vocal folds. The same thing works with a cup, except with a cup you can actually move your mouth. We have lengthened the vocal tract, and by putting a little hole in the end, we've narrowed the opening. And we're getting the same acoustic back pressure that's allowing the vocal folds to vibrate more easily. And right here at the source, at the vocal folds themselves, there's always this positive and negative pressure happening, which is just, people talk about the Bernoulli effect and how it helps the vocal folds come back together. So that's always happening. There's always this, when the vocal folds are together, there's a negative pressure above them. When they pull apart, there's a positive pressure. So that's happening all the time. What we're talking about is the overall buildup of energy, again, inertance, that overall buildup of energy across all the energy boosts of the vocal tract that's putting an overall backward pressure on the vocal folds. It's helping them vibrate more easily and helping to regulate the pressure from below in a more even way. And we talked about how it helps the vocal folds in whatever configuration they go into. This back pressure is going to help them be more balanced, and it's going to help with transitions. So as we're singing across our range, as we're changing how much of the vocal folds are in vibration, as we're changing how much open and together they are, this increased back pressure is going to help with all of those elements. Whatever you're doing, it will help with, and it'll help the vocal folds move more smoothly. And using a tool like the straw or the cup is a way to move beyond what we'd normally do in singing to help our body learn how to access that increased energy. And then when we move off of the tool, the body remembers. If you don't have a cup or a straw with you, some other options are lip trills, tongue trills, some nasal elements like z, j, v. These are all exercises that I'm sure you've played with. But just notice as I lip trill, how I'm narrowing the opening. I didn't get the length element, but I did get a little bit with the lip because they're forward. So that you're getting some of the same benefit as you do with the tool. So let's take a second and look at some of the tools. This is just a regular drinking straw that you might see at a restaurant. This is the kind you see in California now because we have, thankfully, in most places, outlawed plastic drinking straws that are destroying the planet. And this is a paper straw. You can also get corn-based plastic if you must use plastic. And what I'm going to do is just sing or speak in anything. I just had a straw there. So, just acting like it's not there. I just happen to have my lips wrapped around it. It's important that we don't have gaps. Sometimes people do that, which is increasing the opening, and it's also eliminating the straw functionally from benefit because the goal is the length and the tinier opening. And if we look into voce vista with the straw. So I'll go from ah to straw and back. Ah, wah. We can see that I'm pressing the number 1 with my hand over here so I can see more information, the wider information, less overall, but more information per harmonic. And you can see that when I put the straw in, we lose a lot of energy. Because that's less of the acoustic energy that I'm creating is going out into the world. More of it is staying in my vocal tract, which is what I want, because I'm training my vocal folds with that increased back pressure. Let's look, one of the things people will often do with a SOVT like a straw is that they'll use nasality, which means the soft palate is lowered. And let's look at the difference there. So I'm going to do for nasality, because that's going to lower my soft palate. But I'm going to do a b, because that's going to lift the soft palate. And I'll use the straw both times, and let's look at the difference. You'll notice when I'm doing the because the palate's lowered, a lot of my acoustic energy is escaping through my nose. So that's actually not what we're looking for either. We want the energy to stay in the vocal tract, which means we're not going to see the result of it in the analyzer because it's not coming out into the world to impact the analyzer. So you can use the analyzer to show the difference, or you can just have them practice the and the b back and forth, and you'll feel a difference. When you do b, you'll feel the energy stay in the vocal tract. When you do you'll feel it escape. If we vocal fry, here's another interesting point. So that, again, the principal benefits of the straw, the SOVT, and you'll want to practice saying this, are that they narrow the opening, lengthen the vocal tract, thereby increasing acoustic back pressure. A second variable that's interesting is by lengthening the vocal tract, we're actually going to lower all of our energy boosts. So I do even my lowest energy boost, or when I my undervowel is the lowest it can be. When I add the straw, it goes even lower, down below 200 Hertz. My second energy boost drops, etc. You can see up here with the that's happening too, just the radical drop that happens. So this is an interesting element because you'll never sing with this low of your energy boost at that low a pitch. But consider, one of the things the straw is really helpful with is working through transition points. And so what you're doing by lowering the overall energy boost is that you're making your transition point actually happen sooner. So if I'm having a transition crossing this 200, 180 Hertz or whatever, and I want my undervowel to go from matching my second harmonic to go to matching my first, or let's say to go from matching my third to my second or whatever. If I lower that energy boost way down, now it's not there at all. It's in a very different place. And so that experience where I'm tripping up and my voice is flipping because I'm going from second harmonic to first harmonic, now it's that first energy boost is in a different place. So I can practice those notes without that trippy moment where the flip is happening. It just isn't going to occur because my undervowel moved. And so I can move around it and get used to the stability, have the extra back pressure, and then go back and forth from the straw, which is going to change where the undervowel is sitting because the straw is now gone and it popped back up. But my body's used to the stability of the vocal folds now in that region, and then it'll get more used to placing the undervowel in that more stable place. It's, again, you're training your mind to find stability in the vocal folds with increased back pressure and a different placement of the undervowel. And then as you pull the straw off and that one variable or those couple of variables change, the body will say, let's maximize that thing that made it easier before. And so it will actually adjust the vocal tract to increase back pressure, and it'll adjust the undervowel just enough so that it's sitting in a place that's more stable. And so we do this all the time, coming on and off the straw, like over the ocean, my sea, so that we're going back and forth, teaching the brain, maximize on this back pressure thing, maximize on the undervowel position and on the other energy boosts, and now do it without it, now do it with it, back and forth. It's very effective for training.